He tries to keep up with the boys when they won their grand final just recently. He, you know, I think they did the 4-day bender. I think grand final night, he disappeared, and normally he wouldn't, you know, he'd be there until the club closes, but he disappeared, and then I think the night before he disappeared, the next day disappeared. So it just shows that he's trying to keep up, but yeah, you know, he's nearly 50 something now, so.
Oh, the years are showing a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, oh, that's all right.
But he tries hard. He still tries hard to keep up, so.
Oh, yeah.
And there was one game against Broadview again. I was watching the game, and look, Kilburn were, I think, 3 goals behind. Doing a little bit tough. They've moved Johnny, I think, to centre half forward. And JP, off his own leg, I think he's kicked 4 goals or 3 goals in the last quarter and snatched the game. Fantastic. People were just ecstatic, excited. And I'm sure Johnny remembers that game because it was just, he just dominated.
Absolutely. How did he kick the goals?
Oh, left, right-legged. He was quick. Johnny Parks would probably be one of the quickest blokes I've seen at Kilburn, except for maybe a Flesh Fader, but we'll never know that because they never race against each other. But JP was very, very fast.
Yeah. So he's a negative spoiling sort of backman, or was he a dominating sort of backman?
No, he's a dominating backman. You knew he was out there when he got the ball, and when he went for the ball, he really went for it. You know, he didn't like it going past him.
He just played it hard. He was a good mark when he was in the A grade and the juniors. He was always a good, fantastic mark, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Fantastic mark, and he just played it hard. He wouldn't go round the player, he'd go through him. And that's the way he played his football.
He's mostly the best footballer I've ever played with, in the sense of his commitment to a club, his commitment to a team, and he's just a great bloke, you know. Like, every time when there was someone needed a lifting, if he didn't do it himself, he'd get behind you, and he could lift you, make you play, you know, like
a team man.
Oh, great teammate, yeah. And like I say, I haven't been to Kilburn Footy Club since '98 reunion for the '78 grand final, but I've often spoke of incidents in my footy up the Northern Territory about what the influence Johnny Parks had on me and the Kilburn Footy Club.
I used to come watch the boys play from when I was about 13, 14. Come watch them. So they were my heroes. I didn't watch SANFL footy or VFL footy then. I used to watch Kilburn play. So those guys were my heroes. So, you know, it's been great. And it's been great this year for me to come back, and, you know, it's great for my uncle to get me back here and to be part of the club and to rekindle my friendship with people like JP and Danny and the likes.
Obviously, John's a bit of a legend.
Yes.
How does he view himself?
Look, I only spoke to him yesterday about all this coming up, and he's a little bit worried about it because he doesn't like to be in the limelight. He's modest, and yeah, so it's worrying him. He's not sure what to expect or how it's going to go. So, but I assured him that it's not a roast. We're not going to make a fool out of you. It's just something that we're going to put together for appreciation of his 50 years of being at the club. So, look, we were brought up very modest family, and not to try to be in the limelight. Just do the work and get on with it, and don't make a fuss about it. And that's what he does, and that's how he likes to do it.
What was in the suit?
Well, they never get drug tested, so it's alright.
On that note, so thanks very much, John. Is that all right?
It's your thing. Do what you wanna do. I can tell you who to sock it to. It's your thing, yeah. Do what you wanna do. Don't let me tell you who to sock it to. Let me hear you say it's my thing. It's a thing. I do what
You been a great little footballer, John. You're a legend in this club, and it's been a pleasure to be associated with you, Johnny. All the best. Thank you.
John and I did a lot of travelling in the younger day. At one particular time we went over to Perth. There was Gary Smart, John and myself and a crab, Bill the Crabs. Every time he'd go out with the sealer at night, this Bill, he'd come home and say, "Oh, I give another girl the crabs tonight. Not I had a nice sealer tonight." Anyway, so he paid the whole trip. We went over there. I had a panel van, EJ panel van, and we had the whole back of the panel van was full of paintings because we were selling them door to door. So we picked them up here, and the boss had them, who was Bill, and we had them in the van. We had the whole van loaded. So we were going over there to sell them door to door. That was our job. So in those days it was all dirt. The Nullarbor was all dirt. In 1971, I reckon it was. So we got the whole back of the panel van full of these paintings, and so there's no room for our luggage. So what we had to do was I had the surf racks on the top of the panel van, so we tied our suitcases on the surf racks to make room for all the paintings. And we had 3 people in the front of the van, me driving, John or Gary in the middle, and one that's just sitting behind the seat, because there were 4 of it and the rest of it was paintings. So the whole way over there, one of them had to stay awake with me and hold the car in 3rd gear because it kept jumping out of 3rd gear. So anyway, like I said, it was all dirt all the way over. So we ripped the muffler exhaust system off. Oh, it was a hell of a trip. Anyway, by the time we got the other side of the Nullarbor, there was 1 suitcase missing. There was only 1, the rest of them were still there, and it was John's. So John, we're over in Perth, he hasn't got any clothes. And I was his size, we're all the same size in those days, only 16, 17 years old. So, so John, every time he wanted to go out, he had to borrow clothes. He had no clothes, everything went. So he never really forgave me for that. Every time we tell about our trip when we went away and that, he said the only suitcase that went missing was his. So we did that together, and then when we were over there, we came back, and Gary decided, because I was there the year before and I hitchhiked back because I didn't have a car. So Gary decided he's got to hitchhike back. He hitchhiked back. So John and I come back, and we ran into, while we were over there, Robert Frick. He's a bit of a wild bit. He's dead now, unfortunately. Nice bloke. So he came back with us. So the 3 of us come back in the panel van. So I think we got to Eucla, and we got on the piss in Eucla, and Robert's in the pub at Eucla picking fights. So we've had to get the fuck in the car and get the hell out of there. So we left Eucla in a hurry, so because Robert was picking fights there. So we finally got back. Anyway, so that was one little trip we did. I was over in Wagga Wagga with John playing football. We went over there with Arch Wilkie back in '76 after a couple of trips after a trip in Darwin. So I went over there and played with him over there. But when he was in Darwin, he got something like 10 votes out of 7 games in the association medal. He just cleaned it up when he was up there. Yeah, oh, it's a good competition then. So yeah, he did it right up there.
Where best did you play? What position?
Oh, I mainly played B grade. So I played with him under 16s here, the year we got done in the grand final. Then I didn't play for a while because I went off doing other stuff. I travelled and went over to Sydney and up to Cairns and that. So I didn't play for a while. Then I come back again in '75, played B grade here 1 season. By the end of the season I was playing A grade because I hadn't played for 5 years. So I played a season. Then I went to Darwin and played a couple of seasons up there. Wagga, I went over there, played A grade over there with him. And then I took up overseas. Gary Smart, I went over, and then Gary came later on. And I did a couple of years over there. Then I come back and I lived in Darwin for 15 years. I come back 20 years, so I've seen a lot of John now. So he's working for me for a while, brick paver, now he's doing his own stuff. So yeah, but that trip to Perth, anyway, as you know, John's his little, what's the word, outlook on life. So Gary, you saw him out there, he's a real smooth operator, Gary. So we'd be there selling these paintings door to door. So they were like, the boss would get them for $1, give them to us for 20, we'd sell them door to door. And I had the car, I was the sort of supervisor, so every painting everyone sold, I'd get $1. So we'd sell them door to door, and we'd come back after a couple of hours. John didn't sell any. I'd sell 2 or 3. Gary, even if he didn't sell them, he'd say, oh, I went to steal it. I had peaches and ice cream there, and I don't know if he knocked any of them off, but but he would do all right. Well, John was. He wasn't the salesman, old John. But we had a ball. We had a real good time.
Did he ever sell a baby?
Yeah, he sold a few. We went there, and when we left, I had bought this guy a bill. He was paying for everything. I left with $14 and got there with $1. John had $6 when we left. I mean, $6 was still $6. The dollar was $11 then. He had $6 and Gary had about $10. So between the three of us, we had about $25 and drove to Perth. But this other guy paid all the bills. But poor old John, when he got there, didn't have any money or any clothes.
Is that Peter? All right.
Good. Is that enough?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Shall I turn it on now?